thank you for coming back to my page and watching my new video. So this video is really exciting. It's the first one of my television show reviews that I'm going to be doing. So this is must watch shows on Netflix part 1. Okay, it's going to be like a series-ish of stuff. So these are, I got 3 today. I got 3 for you today. Very excited, very excited. All right, first one up is The Last Kingdom. All right, that one it has 4 seasons. Season 5 is in production. Ooh, hallelujah, yay. Okay, so this show is about Vikings, Saxons, the church, like it's all that old-timey. So it's a historical drama, historical fiction, and it has a lot of action. Okay, blood, guts, battlefield, war. So it follows the story of Uhtred, which Uhtred, love of my life, yo. This man right here, love of my life. Except for, okay, so Uhtred, son of Uhtred of Bebbanburg. So Uhtred of Bebbanburg, right? He was kidnapped when he was a child. He was kidnapped. Well, he wasn't really kidnapped. Let's start over. Okay, so first episode. He's on a battlefield or whatever with his dad, his biological father. And he ends up, his biological father ends up being murdered, like on the little scene, and he ends up being taken by the people that they were fighting. Right, so he ends up getting taken by him because his uncle is a coward and just like stays inside this fort and pretends like he had died or something and doesn't even go to look for him. And so it gives you, this show is very much Game of Thrones vibes ish, except for not supernatural, not as expansive as Game of Thrones. So basically he gets kidnapped, he goes to the other side. So it's, you know, Saxons versus Vikings, period. So Saxons versus Vikings, and he gets kidnapped by the Vikings. He ends up becoming part of the whole Viking thing because the guy who kidnapped him, Uhtred, the original Uhtred, right? He was like, oh, I like your grit, because he saves his daughter, and he's like, I like your grit, you're gonna be my son now. So instead of being a slave, he becomes a son. He upgrades. Okay, it's pretty cool. And then a whole story is basically his walk through life, because he ends up assisting the king of the Saxons. It's it's very complicated, very messy. I mean, it's not that complicated, you can follow the story, but it's very messy. Okay, I didn't want him to have to help out the church, because the church are a bunch of assholes. That's what they are, assholes. I'm not gonna mince my words, that's what they are. All right, so that's that. So if you liked Game of Thrones, you will definitely love this show. 100%. Straight off like that. Another thing, Uhtred, because I'm just gonna tell y'all a synopsis, okay? I already said these are must watch, so you know that you must watch them and they're good enough to watch, so I'm not gonna go into no spoilers or anything. But Uhtred, okay? Uhtred, never ever be the love of Uhtred's life, okay? That's all I'm going to say, period. He's the love of my life, but I would never be the love of his, because that's some you'll see. The second one, next one up, is oh, and all of these shows are all Netflix originals. So I think some of them partnered with other channels too, but it's all Netflix originals. So the next one is Cursed. Okay, Cursed is the time period of like King Arthur and Merlin. That time period, it's a retelling of the story of Nimue and Arthur. Okay, so Nimue, okay, it's a girl, y'all. A female lead, okay? A female lead. So this automatically makes it great to me. So, Nimue, the girl in the beginning, she has these, she's part of the Fae, which are like fairies, not really fairies, but fairies, mystical creatures, you know, people with magical powers, whatnot, people embodied with magic. And so, Nimue is like an outcast in her clan of Fae because she has this really, really strong dark magic, and they're all like, oh, she's a loose cannon, oh my god, we don't like blah, blah, blah. You know how it is, always trying to hold somebody down, okay? They were scared of her power. Anyway, off topic. So, Nimue, happens to go out because she's going to run away from home. And so she takes her best friend because her best friend follows her. And then she's like, I'm going to run away. But ends up not being able to run away because the ship she was going to run away on is not there. It had left already. So she was out of luck. So then she meets this guy who later turns out to be Arthur. So she meets this guy and it's all like, she got a crush on him. Everybody, you could read between the lines, and so it's all like that. And then her best friend's like, "Oh, we should really get back home." Blah, blah, blah. But they end up going to fall asleep in the woods and not being able to go back home that night. And it turns out that night, while they were away, her family is like being slaughtered, right, by bad people that don't like the Fae, the church again. I tell you. And so, so they're all being murdered stuff. She ends up coming like right around the time of the massacre. She comes and she is like, oh my god, they're all dying, they're all dead, da, 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 and tries to save her mother. Her mother dies. Her mother's like, I need you to go find Merlin, and gives her a sword. Okay, turns out this sword is like stupid magical powers. Anybody that wields it is supposed to be like the next king or something. It's wild. So, this story follows her and her trying to find Merlin and her trying to get the sword away so that she could like carry on with her life because she doesn't want anything to do with anything because, you know, her whole entire clan is of murder. But she ends up being like the savior and she's the one that's going to lead them into a revolution. Not Arthur, because Arthur's a pussy, okay? Arthur's a coward. He ain't got no backbone. But we'll get past that. So, definitely watch that one. Unfortunately, it has one season and it might be canceled. We don't know yet, but it might be canceled because of this whole pandemic stuff. It might be one of the shows that kicks the bucket, so I'm very upset about that. But, yeah, definitely watch it. It's a drama, has a little tiny bit of romance, tiny bit of spice flavor, and definitely action. So it's all these options are going to be, if you don't like, you know, fighting, blood, gore, don't watch these shows. Okay, then the last one we're going to talk about is The Witcher. You probably heard of this one. A lot of people have heard of it. So The Witcher has one season. It's being renewed. The lead character, the lead actor, he was injured during the filming of it, so it's like slow in production or whatever. So apparently he's fine. I think he like broke his leg or something. But so it'll probably take a little bit longer than expected to to have that one come out. Okay, so so it's played by the same guy. I forgot to write down his name, but the lead character, the Witcher guy, he's played by the same guy that played Superman. Okay, so if y'all know who Superman is, Christian, I can't remember. So it's him. So it's a complex story. It follows 3 different people's storylines. So the main guy, the Witcher, is Geralt of Rivia. He is a Witcher, which a Witcher is basically like a man who can't have babies, who has some supernatural abilities, and fights off monsters. That's the easiest way to explain it. And he can't have babies. They took out all his little baby making parts. So I don't know why that's important, but for some reason it's important. Oh yeah, they're going extinct. That's why. There's only like a couple Witchers left in the world. That's why I remember now. Okay, so him. Then the other person it's on is Yennefer. Yennefer, she is a witch. So she was actually a peasant girl who was very disformed and disabled or whatever, and she ends up being taken in by this like witch people thing, and they give her the powers and the knowledge to be able to become a witch, and she becomes a really, 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 really powerful one, a top-notch mage, if you know what I'm talking about, and a little obsessed with the power, but you know, should be alright. Should be alright. And then the last girl is a child. She's a child. Her name is Ciri. Yeah, her name is Ciri. She is supposed to be like the next queen, I believe. So her story starts off, she watches her mom, the queen, she gets murdered because they're in this big war between somebody and somebody. And so her mama gets murdered. Everybody dies, but most the important thing is her grandmother, her mom, her grandmother. And so then she has to run away. Her guard that was protecting her, he gets murdered on the way. And then she's just like running away by herself, and she runs into the forest and ends up being with this stray little fae guy, another fae guy. She ends up meeting him, and he like protects her, and then turns out she's supposed to find Geralt because he holds the keys to something. It's always a roundabout kind of thing. Well, I'm not gonna ruin it because I'm not gonna tell you why he holds keys to her future, but he holds keys to her future. She gotta find him. That's her last request from her dying mother. And then so it's basically follows the story of all of them and how they are connected. They don't all end up connected until like the last episode. Then it's like real crazy. There was like fire and there was magic and there's people dying and it was crazy. I loved it. I loved every second of it. But my favorite parts of the show was The Witcher, because you know he was cool. There was the whole brooding, I'm so sad, torture. And then the fact that the bard, there's always a bard in these shows, you know. And the bard, he made a song about him. He's like, toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of... It's a banger, okay? Once you hear that song, you're gonna be like, yeah, the witcher! And so hopefully in the second season, we get to know a little bit more about why they all have to meet up. Like, why is this a big thing? Why is this going down? Okay, thank you again for watching my video. I know it was a long one, but it's okay. Probably not going to post any clips to this one because they're all Netflix ones, and you know Netflix likes to copyright people, but I'll definitely post a lot of pictures, woo, and everything of that nature. And so like, subscribe, comment, follow button down below. Tell me what else you want to see, like what genres you want to hear about, because I'm going to do, because I have a lot of free time right now, I'm going to do another anime one, and then I'm going to do another of these Netflix must-watch ones. Then I'm going to give you a couple that you shouldn't watch, because, you know, I'll warn you about what not to watch on Netflix and anime-wise, because some of them aren't worth your time. Okay, so, alright. Thank you, y'all. See you again.